Today I'd like to talk a little bit more about Poland and my experiences in Poland. The reason I want to do that is I've had quite a lot of interest come onto my vlog with regards to my year in Poland. Some of it not really relevant because my year in Poland was all about retail and starting a retail business in Poland. But it's obviously inspired lots of discussion and people wanting to talk about Poland generally. And there's been very positive reaction to what Poland is all about, and there's been some what I would describe as more negative reaction. So I'm not going to talk any negative reaction because, quite honestly, in my life and time in Poland, there was nothing negative to talk about. I enjoy, as I've mentioned before, I enjoyed my time in Poland. I enjoyed what I could experience in terms of the culture in Poland and the whole way of life and how friendly people were generally in Poland. So, and it was nothing, quite honestly, I expected. Not that I was expecting people to be unfriendly, of course I wasn't, but the country to me just seemed very warm and very friendly. I mean, I know when I first went there it was springtime, and after landing in Warsaw and driving across to Poznan became my base for exploring Poland generally in terms of the business. The business HQ we set up was based in Poznan, and I've got to say, it was an experience. I got there in the spring, early summer, and it was a wonderful experience. I remember going to the old town, the Stary Rynek, and sitting out there in the square in one of the outside taverns, drinking a Żywiec. Now that's an interesting word, Żywiec. It's a beer, and it's an excellent Polish beer. I couldn't pronounce the name when I saw it the spelling of it. I can't remember the spelling now. If I'm not mistaken, it starts with a T, but it's pronounced Żywiec. And please, Polish people, correct me if I've made a mistake now, because it's been a few years. But I thought, nothing like I expected. It was a continental stroke lifestyle, something I would expect to have more in the sort of south of France or Spain or somewhere like that, because the weather was beautiful. It was warm and it was cozy in respect to friendliness, and all these taverns with their umbrellas over the tables out in the square was, I thought, quite incredible. It was just, and the food was excellent. A very basic food, but a favourite of mine was the soup. What is it called? Zurek is it called? Which is like a Polish sausage cut up into a sort of a spicy type of Polish soup. But it was excellent, and it was very, very, very good. What I did find in my time in Poland is, unless I had somebody who spoke Polish who was with me, and I went off into the streets and tried to travel around myself, it was more difficult, because I found English was not as prominent as it is today. I mean, obviously English is, you could pick up English-speaking people in Warsaw and in the main centres, but as you got out into the countryside, you if you couldn't find someone who could speak English, it was difficult to make yourself understood at times. And I found myself in that situation a few times. When I'd jump in the car, I'd drive across from Poznan across to Bydgoszcz, for example, where we were opening our first set of retail stores, and I'd stop somewhere for a bite to eat or something like that, and you found the menu was all in Polish, and it was difficult to actually establish what was on the menu, and if the person you were ordering from couldn't understand English or speak English either, it was a difficult situation. But yes, the general feeling, yes, the roads and travelling across Poland was more difficult when I was there, because they didn't have the infrastructure of motorways like we had in the UK, and I know they've improved significantly now, from when I was there. This is going back to the late 1990s. Don't forget. So it was before Poland was in the EU. But it was a lovely place. I remember Gdansk and visiting the historical locations where change basically affected Europe with the solidarity movement, and visiting those fantastic locations where a lot of that happened. I can recall my trips out to Katowice and my trips out to Krakow. I can recall my day out to Auschwitz, and seeing these where things were on record as being recorded as horrendous during the war. But I just found every town and city I went to had a very, very friendly approach to people that were coming in. I don't think that's changed. I think that is still the same. A lot of my comments that have come up on the first video I sent out, a lot of people talk about the smog and the dirt in the air. And yes, I mean, when I was there during the winter months, most people were lighting coal fires, particularly out in the countryside areas, but also in some of the cities, and obviously in the heavy industrial areas like Katowice, where a lot of the heavy industry was going on. There was a bit of smog in the air, but nothing that I would say was extraordinary. I mean, having been to places like China and places in the Far East, I wouldn't say Poland had anything that was anything as drastic as that. But so it didn't affect me in any way. That I mean, I noticed every building I went into when going to Polish people's homes. When I was invited to people's homes, they're always so warm and cozy. I used to be amazed by these hot water pipes that would be pumping hot water into these large apartment blocks in the cities I went to go and visit. And the other thing about the Polish weather was, the summers were very continental. And when winter came, it was very harsh. You had to change your vehicle tires to the snow tires, the winter tires. And when you're in these squares like the Stary Rynek, during the summer months, you had the tables and chairs and the umbrellas out in the square. In the winter months, everyone was inside in the snugs, in the cellars, sitting round fires, being served their givets and having their zurek and other foods and things like that. So it was like a different atmosphere, but a very pleasant atmosphere as far as the winter months go. So yeah, I've got a big thumbs up for Poland, and I think Poland is a fantastic country. And I'll be sharing lots and lots of information and pictures and short movie intervals on Polish cities and my experience in Poland in the coming months and years that lie ahead as I reminisce on my time in Poland. Okay, talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.